Now. I want my news update when? I want it now. What about Facebook updates? Now. Twitter, now. I want everything now. I want my score updates now. I want my score updates sometimes before the score even happens. There I am on the tarmac sitting, and this beautiful lady is telling me how to save my life should this beautiful metal bird of flight decide to land in the ocean. Steph Curry's on the line, shooting one. I need my score update now, because I gotta go. And so what we're talking about today is the way we consume information has completely changed, correct? The vehicles in which we use to communicate have completely changed, correct? No longer do we just have a phone, a Yellow Pages, maybe even a snail mail. We have all these different ways to communicate. Funny story, I was up in Santa Monica with my Auntie Lonnie and my Uncle Dennis. And I was staying with them for a couple days, and I said, hey, I would like to take you out to dinner. But before I take you out to dinner, I do need to stop at an ATM because I'm running a little low. What proceeded next was a 20-minute conversation about where the best ATM was to go. And then after 20 minutes, they went and they grabbed the Yellow Pages and they started looking up ATMs. And it was, if only I had this powerful computer in my pocket connected to this powerful database where I could just look this thing up in 30 seconds. Nobody communicates like this anymore. Have you heard of Facebook, this tiny little company up in Silicon Valley? I hope so. There's 2.2 billion people on Facebook. You've heard of Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook. I still don't even know what a tweet is, right? And so what we're looking at is the way the world communicates has changed. And we got to change too in order to keep up. You want more ideal patients coming into your practice? The way the world communicates has changed. And we must change too. Do you want to be positioned as the authority and the pillar of your community? The way the world communicates has changed, and we must change too. And so you're going to hear that over and over because that's the theme of today as we talk about how to communicate your practice. My name's Creighton Wong, and if you're sitting in this room, chances are you own a dental practice or you work for a dental practice and you really want to grow it. And you don't just want to grow it, but you want to grow it in your own vision, with your own values. And you want patients that actually appreciate and value the services that you provide, as well as pay for them. And so one of the things that we're going to go over today is that there's this massive opportunity out there. And it's happening right now. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West, where if you put your stake in the ground and you claim your land, you're going to get ahead. And if you don't, you're just going to get left behind. So if you've tried marketing before and you failed, it's not your fault. If you've tried digital marketing specifically and failed, it's not your fault. If you've tried Facebook advertising and failed, it's not your fault. And what we're going to do today, my promise to you, is that I'm going to go over this one big mistake that pretty much all businesses, not just dentists, but all businesses make, and most general marketers make in terms of marketing your services. And we're going to go through all the fundamentals for you too today. And if you're wondering, oh gosh, I don't know, does this work for me? I'm here to tell you that it will. That every dentist, every business that I've seen that practice these fundamentals, they always see a bump in their business. And most of them see it within 90 days. Okay? The problem is there's a lot of bad information out there. Shoot, the ADA even promotes some of these marketing websites that are cookie-cutter websites with cookie-cutter content. And oh, by the way, you don't even own your own domain name. And that's hurting a lot of businesses. So we've got to sift through a lot of the bad information, and we've got to find out what the fundamentals are that we can practice. And so we got to take a stand and stop doing what everybody else is doing, stop having marketing and websites and brochures that look like everybody else's. Put our stake in the ground and claim that land. Because the way the world communicates has changed, and we got to change too. So boom, I hit the ground, face first, little blood pooling in my mouth. Let me give you the backdrop. So it's a Saturday morning, and I'm training for the Oceanside Ironman, 70.3. And that's 1.2 miles of swimming, 56 miles of biking, and a half marathon at the end. So I go out for a training ride, and just so you know, you might see me with a little bit of a limp here. I run with a prosthetic leg. So I've got one of those cool, like, little carbon fiber J legs, and I go bouncing around down the Iron Horse Trail. And I'm not very good at it either, so nice and slow. So I start on this training ride on a Saturday morning, and I'm going down the Iron Horse Trail, and then it's weird. All of a sudden, there's a huge purple chalk. It's like 1 mile to go. I was like, okay, that's weird, that's strange. And so I keep going, and I keep going, and then another thing in big pink chalk. I said, you can do it. And I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going, and then it's like, you're almost there. And then all of a sudden, there's this tunnel of people. And they've got the horns, what do you call those, the vuvuzelas, and they've got more cowbell, and who doesn't want more cowbell on a Saturday morning? And they're all cheering because Team in Training is having their training day that weekend. So I'm coming in, and I'm feeling good. I mean, like, this is like the best training day ever. And I get to the finish line, and I kind of relax, and I catch my toe on the ground, and I go down. You know that feeling, you know, when you want to close your eyes and that little lady from Southwest Airlines whispers in your ear, want to get away? I mean, I go down in front of like 50 people. Simultaneously, my back seized up on me as well. And so I'm tightened up. I can't even get myself off the ground. Like, I need some of the volunteers to kind of help me up, usher me over to the, to the park bench and everything. And I also realized something too, from a business standpoint. People don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. Because I needed to fix my back for a long, long time. But now I wanted it to, because now it had gone too far. And I want you to keep this story in mind, because I'm going to make another promise to you. I'm going to loop back to it, and it's all going to completely make sense. All right? So today, we're going deeper than you've ever gone in marketing, and we're going to go through all the fundamentals and make sure that you understand what needs to happen to get your practice to grow. So, lesson 1. What's your why? Lesson 1. What's your why? So several years ago, I watched a TED Talk by a guy by the name of Simon Sinek. And he profoundly changed the way that I think, the way that I act, and the way that I communicate with others. Why is it that some individuals seem to defy all logic, defy all the odds, and reach these heights of success, while others do not? Why is it Apple is so innovative? After all, they're just a computer company. Why does it seem like some dentists are getting a steady flow of all the best patients, while others are fighting tooth and nail for the scraps? It's because the way the world communicates has changed. We've got to change too. And people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So there's a pattern. There's a pattern on how great inspirational leaders, great inspirational organizations behave. They think, they act, and they communicate differently. From Apple, from Martin Luther King, from the Wright brothers. And Simon Sinek goes on to call this the Golden Circle. For those of you taking notes, he calls it why, how, and what. Oops, that's terrible. and think of this as circles. If I ask you, what do you do? Every single one of you knows what you do. Pretty much anybody who's employed knows what they do. If I ask you how you do it, again, most people know how they do it. Even if they're not specifically the technician that does it, they kind of know how their business operates. If I ask you why you do what you do, well, now that's a deeper question. And a lot of people actually don't know that answer. And what I mean by why, I don't mean to make money. That's just a result. What's your purpose? What are your values? What are your beliefs? Why do you wake up in the morning? And why should anybody care? Because the way the world communicates has changed, and we got to change too. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So let's just say, for sake of argument, that Apple Computer communicates like everybody else. They start with what, they go to how, and they go to why. We build computers. They're beautifully designed and user-friendly. Would you like to buy one? Not really that inspiring. I put braces on people's teeth. I graduated prestigious university, top of my class. Would you like to come in for a consultation? Again, not really that inspiring. The reason why, and Simon Sinek goes on to talk about that this is rooted in biology. The problem is when you start with what and you communicate from the outside in, you're talking to the frontal cortex of the brain. And the frontal cortex of the brain has this massive amount of processing abilities. So we list all the things we do. We list our differentiating propositions, our benefits, our features, and we can process all of that stuff. But the problem with communicating that way is that the frontal cortex does not drive action. Have we ever been in that situation where we have the laundry list of all the reasons you should do something, and you say, I don't feel like it? When you communicate from the inside out, as great leaders, great inspiring leaders do, you are speaking specifically to the animal brain. You're speaking to the limbic brain here. And the limbic brain is responsible for driving action. So imagine this. I'm Apple Computer. We believe. We believe. We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe. We believe. We believe in thinking differently. And the way we challenge the status quo is by building products that are both beautifully designed and user-friendly. We just happen to buy computers. You want to buy one? You're more ready to buy a computer from me now because I'm Apple, because I communicate this way. And an iPod, iPad, and a phone. Gateway they're just a computer company. They tried to build TVs. They failed. Dell, they're a computer company. They tried to build tablets. They failed because they don't communicate from the inside out. In case you're wondering, I believe that healthcare professionals have the ability to heal the world. And I want to help you. That's how I communicate from the inside out. Let's go back to the orthodontist. What if, just imagine this, what if he communicated differently? I'm the selfie doctor. And my patients take the best selfies in the world. Because I believe I believe that somebody who has the best smile in the world can put forth the best version of themselves and share it with the world. And a happier, healthier smile leads to more confidence and more opportunities. We use the best, latest techniques to get you fast results that you will love. Would you like to come in for a consultation?
Yes.
Do you feel that? Can you find me a teenager who would say no to that? Would you find me a teenager who, if given the two options, what would they choose? The way the world communicates has changed, and we got to change too. Remember, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Okay? We're good? We're going to shift gears here. We're going to level up. We're going to go to another place. Okay? On a deeper level, the next thing, lesson 2, we're going to talk about the patient value journey. Lesson 2, the patient value journey. So, oh gosh, best story ever. I'm sitting there. My girlfriend of mine, she's in Chicago looking for love in all the wrong places. And she's online, and she finds this guy, he's a handsome guy, steady job, seems like a nice match. And so they set up a dinner date. And he comes over, brings a nice bouquet of flowers. So far, so good. She says, hold on a second, I just need to go freshen up. She goes down the hall, into the bedroom, into the bathroom, does whatever she does to freshen up. And then she comes out. And there he is, lying on her bed, completely buck naked. Really weird, really awkward. She threw him out right away. And she's crazy too, so, and she's like OCD germaphobe, so she burned that comforter, and he was out of there. And so why am I telling you this story? This has nothing to do with dentistry, but it does have to do with building relationships. And getting new patients is about building relationships. There's a guy, he's a psychiatrist by the name of Desmond Morris, and he wrote this book called The 12 Stages of Intimacy. And the take-home message from that is there's 12 stages of intimacy, eye to hand, blah, blah, blah. And the take-home message is this: if you go through all 12 stages, you have a really, really high probability of success. Now, if you miss a stage, that probability goes down a little bit. You miss 2 stages, it goes down a little bit more. You start missing 3, now you really start dropping. So you really can't skip stages. But here's the rub. There was no factor. Speed was not a factor. There was no, let's wait 10 years and go through that. No, it had nothing to do with it. As long as you went through the 12 stages, speed was not a factor. I can attest to this. My parents got engaged, I think, 7 days after they met. Getting new patients is about building relationships. It's the same thing, whether you're building a romantic relationship, a friendship, it's just building relationships. So we're going to go through right now the 8 stages of building that relationship, and we call it the patient value journey. So stage 1 is awareness. So ask yourself this. Ask yourself this question: how do people become aware of you? How do patients know that you exist? Stage 1 is like that glance across the room and you lock eyes and you're like, okay, now we know we exist. We've got a 73-point checklist on how to build awareness. So that means there's at least 73 ways. It's probably an infinite number. In the digital marketing world, we're talking about content marketing, paid advertising, social media marketing, blah, 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 email marketing, on down the line. So ask yourself, how are potential patients becoming aware that you even exist? How do you get that glance across the room? Okay, we're good? Pretty simple. Stage 2. Stage 2 is engage. Now we've got to engage with them. So now We've glanced across the room, and now we've come over, and we're going to have a conversation. And we're going to start talking to each other. Here's the thing you need to know. Marketing is every single touch point that a person, be it potential patient or current patient, has with you and your brand. It's every single touch point. So they're on their phone or the internet at 1 o'clock at night and they come to your website. You're sitting there with your tent at the local street fair and they interact with you. That's a touch point. It's that moment that they come into your office. How is your office? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Is it fun? What's the experience they get the moment they walk in there? You have to ask yourself that. So great, we're having an awesome conversation. A lot of times just give value out. Some people call it an ethical bribe, but just like give something for free, especially if it's digital, because you can give 1,000 of them and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, so we understand engagement. It's about starting that conversation. Good? Good, all right. Stage 3. Stage 3 is subscription. So it's awesome. We've glanced across the room. Now we have this great conversation. Last call for alcohol. The bar's closing down. How do we keep that conversation going? Well, in the real world, it used to be really simple. Here, can you write down your number on a napkin? Now, Facebook and WeChat and WhatsApp and whatever. In the business world, it really means still one thing. It means capture an email address. Because we've made this connection, but now we're going to part ways, but we want to keep the conversation going. So that's all subscription's about, is like, ask yourself, how do we keep that conversation going? How do we continue? Because a lot of people don't buy right away. Sometimes they need like 7 points of contact before they say, yes, I do. I'm in. So how do you do that? In the business world, it's email. Okay, we're good? Stage 4. Now we're getting into some of the fun stuff. This is the good stuff, guys. So stage 4 is the conversion stage. So it's awesome. We've glanced across the room, right? We had a great conversation. We exchanged numbers, maybe even had a couple conversations, but now it's time to up the ante. It's time for us to go on a date. All right? First date. So in that same vein, it's kind of like you're asking for a little bit of an investment, a little skin in the game from your potential patient. And there's really only 2 ways. It's time or it's money. And the thing you got to remember is if somebody books an appointment with you, right, they got to usually, it's during the week, they got to shuffle their work schedule a little bit, drive 15 minutes to your office, wait 10 minutes in the waiting room, half an hour consultation, 15 minutes back. They got to budget an hour and a half to get to your office and get back. Somebody's going out of their way to make you a priority. That's a good thing. Okay? If you do dental cleanings and stuff like that, it's like, okay, here's a low-cost dental cleaning. Come in, and now you've got their attention because you got stuff in their mouth and they can't talk, and you get to talk to them. But here's the thing that you understand. This is the one thing that most people mistake about the convert stage. The convert stage is about transforming your patient from a potential patient to a potential patient, even if they just were to pay $1 or 1 cent. Do any of you guys remember a company, I'm going to date myself here, back in the 80s, called Columbia House? Yeah. Here's 1 penny. 1 penny, and you get 10 CDs. But that 1 penny, even that 1 cent, convert it psychologically, somebody into a patient, or in that case, a customer. And now they can send catalogs back, and they can get more sales and more sales. Now, obviously, they didn't make any money off of welcome, off of that first sale. Because the conversion isn't about profitability. It's about acquiring the client. By the way, there were these huge stores, the Warehouse, Tower Records. Columbia House owned 25% of the CD market. They didn't have a single store. What they understood was conversion. Okay? We're good. Stage 4, conversion. It's about acquiring the client, not about profitability. I'll get to that. It's about acquiring the client. Stage 5, the excite stage. Congratulations, you got a date booked. Remember the rules to first dating. Don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, don't talk about exes, don't talk about, what's the other one? Money. I'm joking. Okay, so it's a first date. What's the goal of the first date? Get a second date. All right, so you want to excite your patient right now. True story, the last time I went to a dentist, I went in there and he beat the snot out of me. He made me bleed. I got a pretty good pain tolerance, and he just made me sit there in the chair writhing. I guess my gums were a little sensitive. So what happened? I walked into the office. The, the receptionist, she was as nice as could be. Cute, bubbly, helpful. She took me upstairs to the, to my little room, and the room was big. Everything was super clean. I mean, you could literally eat off the floor. This place was immaculate. And oh, by the way, he did his job. My teeth were clean. They felt great. But he gave me this terrible experience. It was 3/4 of the way through, and I'm sitting there going, and he's sitting there, would you like some numbing stuff for that? I'm like, yeah, you should have done that a half an hour ago. There will be no second date with this guy, even though he did his job. So you have to think of it in terms of the experience. What experience are you delivering? And not just in the chair, but from the moment they walk into your office, to the receptionist, to the care, the totality of everything. Remember we said a couple stages ago, marketing is every single touch point that somebody has with your office, with you, with your brand. I mean, imagine this, right? Boy meets girl, boy takes girl out on a date. Picks her up from her house, takes her to a nice restaurant. Maitre d's super nice and helpful. They get a sweet little spot overlooking the bay. The food's amazing, best food ever. The wait staff was attentive. The conversation was amazing. The laughter was palpable. It was a fun first date. And as they're going back to the car, the boy turns to the girl and says, I'm a little tired. Let me call you an Uber home. So later on, when the mom asks the girl, how was your date? When the BFS asks the girl, how was your date? What's the headline on that? Can you believe she made me take an Uber home? All right? So it's kind of the same thing. What's the headline? What's the take-home message that you're delivering? Okay? Your job in the excite stage is to give value and experience that makes them come back for more. We're good with that? Okay. So after the excite stage, we go to stage 6, and we call that the ascend stage. And we're going to talk a little business here now. This is where profitability is. So there's a thing called the value ladder. And the value ladder is all the services that you provide. So let's say you're a dentist and you got your cleanings and you don't make any money off the cleanings. That's fine. You just build relationships off there. And then you've got teeth whitening, and then you've got, braces, and then root canal, blah, 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 right? So what's happening here, the role of marketing from your end is to smoothly and seamlessly move this person through your patient value journey. But while that's happening, they're on their own little journey of their own, right? It's like herding cats. And as they're on their own little journey, maybe I've got great teeth and I just keep coming in for cleanings. Are you happy with your smile? No, not really. Why not? I don't know, my teeth are a little gray. Okay, well, we've got this program for teeth whitening. Or my tooth is crooked. Okay, we got this program for, we've got braces for that. In other words, as they go through their own personal journey, the value ladder is simply making sure that you have the services to provide them on their travels. And that's all it is. And that's where the profitability comes in. Because these are higher end services for their higher end needs as they are on their own little journey. Okay, so we understand ascension, right? Stage 7. Stage 7 is advocacy. So this is really important. So now you spent all this investment and all this time getting the new patient, and you've given them excitement, and they've ascended, through your value ladder, and then all of a sudden, you get to this advocacy stage. And what that is it's kind of like you've now gone on a couple dates, and your partner is sitting there, and they're bragging about you to their parents and their best friends, and in other words, they're putting in a good word for you. So the advocacy stage is, in Chicago apparently, I got to call it reviews, but it's testimonials, where people are putting in a good word. Why is that so important? It's this term called social proof. We've all done it. We're going to a new restaurant tonight. What do? Let me check on Yelp. Let me read a couple reviews. See what to order. See what other people think. Social proof is huge. Ooh, there's a lot of 1-stars on this. Maybe we choose a different restaurant. And what I mean by reviews, I don't mean these, he was great. And I don't mean the office staff was nice. I mean, go deeper with them. Okay? What were their objections? What were their fears before seeing you in the very first time? Hi, my name's Creighton. I'm from Austin, Texas. I just moved to San Diego. I love barbecue and my dentist of 30 years. But now I got to choose a new one. So I was scared. I don't know what to do. But I saw these reviews on Dr. Ed, and I walked in, and the moment I walked in, all my fears gone. He took care of me like I was family. So you get a review like that. Do people take it more seriously? Let's do a real review. Let's talk about the transformation. Let's talk about the before and after. Give me a little time. I'm going to go deeper into that stuff, okay? The last stage is the promote stage. And the promote stage is very, very similar to the advocacy stage, except for this is where you form relationships and kind of sometimes formal, paid or unpaid, where people are promoting your services. But it's still the same underlying principle. Let's get social proof. Okay? The way the world communicates has changed. We must change too. Getting new patients is about building relationships. All right, we're good so far? All right. Let's shift gears again. We're going to level up again. Lesson 3. Let's start talking about copywriting. The way the world communicates has changed. We must change too, and words matter. And the problem is most people aren't using the words to the best of their ability. The good news is none of your competitors are either. So when I'm talking about copywriting, what I'm really talking about is marketing copywriting. Can you write a sentence? Congratulations, you're a copywriter. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a marketing copywriter. And so what is a marketing copywriter? Marketing copywriting it's persuasive writing that gets your potential patient to take action, right? We go back to the first lesson and we talk about why, how, what. If we speak to the limbic brain, we speak about our why, then we can get people to take action because that's what we want to do. That's what copywriting is all about. All right. So the big thing with copywriting. What's your big idea? We call this the power of one. And what it is coming up with this one big idea that permeates through all your messaging and everything you do. And is highly connected to what's your why. This is a great 1-2 punch. You find out what's your why, and you find out what's your big idea, and this is the 1-2 punch that you do in everything that you market. What's your big idea? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a pediatric dentist. We treat your kids as if they're from our own family. And then that permeates everything you do. Okay? Let's talk about a pediatric dentist. Our kids have more fun. I mean, the idea of fun in a dentist and kids, those kind of don't go hand in hand. And I'm going to go off on a little tangent here because this is something that drives me bananas. It drives me absolutely crazy. And I see it on websites and I see it on brochures. And that's a lot of people using these stock images. And I can do a search on it and I can find out where that stock image. The problem is the message that you're giving out is like, oh, cool, fake family, fake this. Who am I really dealing with here? So you're that pediatric dentist. So why don't you just have a picture of you and one of your happy little patients? Put that on your brochure. Put that on your website. Or how about that happy little patient? Because you got the coolest toys in all of San Diego for them to play with. Or imagine, hey, you give them, if they come in and there's no cavities, you give them a little certificate, a little award, and you take a picture of them every single time, and you put that on the wall of fame. There's your social proof. Look at our kids. They're the happiest. Let's go a little deeper. Let's just say either online or in person, you give them a calendar. You give them a calendar, and on every day it says, brush 2 minutes in the morning, brush 2 minutes in the evening. All right, realistically, they're not going to floss every day, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're going to floss. They're not going to use, I don't know what, mouthwash. Okay, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, they're going to use mouthwash. And then you give them a huge sticker thing of stars. And if they do it, they get to put a star up there. And so now what have you done? You've gamified their oral health care for an 8-year-old. And so, oh, and then we can do this. Put your brand on the calendar, by the way. Put the brand on a, what do you call those things? A timer, right? The little sand timers. You can get these things, and you just stick them to the mirror, and you turn them up, and so, okay, there's 2 minutes, and I got to do my thing. And so by gamifying it, what have you done? The parent, let's talk about the mom. The mom no longer has to force their kid to brush their teeth every morning and every evening. The mom can sit there and say, yeah, this is one less thing that I have to take care of because he loves doing it, because you've gamified it. Okay? So that's my little tangent on that. What are you in the business of? Have you asked yourself that lately? What are you in the business of? Now, most of you say, oh, I'm in the business of dentistry. Yes. No. Some of you who are more clever, because you're in this room, are saying, oh, I'm in the business of marketing and then I do dentistry. It's better. But what you're really in the business of, okay, I told you we're going deeper. What you're really in the business of is transformation. You are transforming somebody's life. Even if I sold you a stick of gum, I'm transforming your life. You're bored, stick of gum. I need something to do, stick of gum. My breath stinks, stick of gum. I just ate something, stick of gum, whatever. I'm better. It's a little transformation. But you guys do big transformations. And so you have to, in your copywriting, the way the world communicates has changed. We must change too. Words matter. We must communicate that transformation. And the best way to do that is this little thing I call before and after. Okay? There's 5 little parts to this. So the first one is, what do you have? What do you have before? What do you have after? I have 100 CDs of my favorite artists and my favorite albums and my favorite songs sitting on my desk. Would you like this? Got 1,000 songs in my pocket now. Want to buy an iPod? Apple sold 1 billion, bajillion iPods with that one little message. This is what you have before, this is what you have after. How do you feel? How do you feel before? How do you feel after? Mouth a little grimy, a little gritty? Come into our office. You walk out feeling like your mouth just spent the day at the spa. People don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. And by the way, nobody wants to go to the dentist and get their teeth cleaned. They need it, absolutely, but nobody wants to do it. So sell them what they want. Have your mouth feel like it just went to the spa. I want that feeling. I'm thirsty right now. I want it right now. I'm coming in. What do you have? What do you feel? What's your average day like before? What's your average day like after? Okay? Dental implants, you know? Are you afraid to go eat in public? Are you afraid to talk and laugh with your girlfriends? You say no when they invite you out to lunch? You know, dental implants might be the right solution for you. Imagine having the freedom to eat whatever you want and laugh as loud as you want. What life seems better? Do you see the transformation? Are you making that psychological link to bridge your solution with what they want? Status. What's your status before? What's your status after? This is a big one. This is a real big one. If you can make somebody richer, if you can make somebody healthier, if you can make somebody more attractive, make somebody into a hero, if you can change their status, they will come on board. Do you take the best selfies in the world? Because my patients do. And last but not least, good versus evil. The ADA did this way back when. So I used to wake up Saturday morning, brush my teeth, bolt upstairs, sit in front of the TV because it was cartoon time. We got Snorks, we got Justice League, we got Smurfs, all sorts of good stuff. And I learned about this guy, Bill, on Capitol Hill and how he was formed. And then right after that, there was this, they call him Yuck Mouth because they don't brush. Well, I don't want to be Yuck Mouth. That's bad. I'm gonna go brush my teeth again. All right? So you can kind of set up this good versus evil. Okay? The way the world communicates has changed. We must change too. And words matter. Words really, really matter. Okay? We're good, right? All right. Take a deep breath. That was a lot. That was a lot. Relax a little bit. Okay? We'll recap really quickly here with me. The way the world communicates has changed. We must change too. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Getting new patients is about building relationships. And words matter. Okay, so we're gonna go a little deeper here now. We're gonna shift gears, and yeah, we're gonna level up. It'll be fun. All right. So, again, if you tried marketing before and you failed, it's not your fault. If you tried digital marketing and failed, it's not your fault. You know, if you sit there waiting around for your marketing firm to get some results, again, it's not your fault. If any of this resonates, it's not your fault. I'm always reminded of one of my favorite quotes by an author by the name of Steven Pressfield. He wrote the book, The War of Art, not to be confused with Sun Tzu's The Art of War. And he says, never forget that we always have the power to change our lives. We never have been, and we never will be, without the power to alter our destiny. Okay? So I promise you guys this at the beginning. There is one big mistake that dentists are making in marketing their services. There's one big mistake that most businesses make in marketing their services. Shoot, most general marketing firms make this big mistake as well. And that is you market every single thing that you do. And that's a big mistake. You've heard of the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. I can tell you as a patient, I don't want a jack of all trades doctor. I want a specialist. I want an expert. So the solution is you got to pick your niche, and you got to position yourself as the expert, the authority, the obvious choice in that particular niche. Remember the patient value journey. This is about acquiring the client. Dominate with specificity. Upsell and cross-sell your other services later. Remember the story I said in the beginning where I fell down, blood coming out of my mouth, my back seized up on me? What did I want? I wanted a solution to my back pain. So I went Google searching. I looked for a back expert. Then I looked for a back expert who worked with athletes. And then I found a back expert that worked with triathletes. In fact, he worked with Chris Lieto. And if you're not familiar with him, at the time, he was the #1 Ironman triathlete in America. So if he's good enough for Chris, he was good enough for me. He happened to be a chiropractor. I didn't go looking for a chiropractor. It's kind of like if any of you guys are experts in like sleep apnea, for example. Somebody's online at 3 a.m. trying to look for somebody to solve their problem. They're not looking for a dentist. You happen to be a dentist. They're looking for a solution to their problem. All right? So imagine that. Imagine finding that one niche and dominating it so much that you become the obvious choice. You become the expert and the authority that people refer to the business over to you. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Okay? So there's a 3-pronged plan that we do, and I want to go over it because we built a lot of fundamentals up today, and now we want to take it Say, well, how do you get this done? I love this idea. I want to be the authority. I want to be the expert. I want to be the key person of influence. How do I do it? Okay, so we got 3 parts. The first, a niche-specific marketing website that converts. For you just scribbling there, I repeat things. A niche-specific marketing website that converts. I know, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Well, let's break this down. Niche-specific, we want to pick our niche. Okay? Marketing, we don't want just some informational site. We want to actually get people to take action. We want people who convert. Okay? So again, if you've got this cookie cutter website that you don't even own and you've got cookie cutter content on there, you've got a plagiarized website. Congratulations. I actually did this with a client. I said, okay, here's your website. I took a line off of her website, put it in quotes, threw it up on Google, and wouldn't you know, that sentence, that exact sentence, came up 180 times, 80 times. I had 18 pages worth of that line. Are you an expert when you're just plagiarizing another 179 people? All right, so what goes into a niche-specific marketing website that converts? So the first thing is we start with pick your niche. Pretty obvious. What's your why? We went over the importance of that. What's your one big idea? And then for goodness sakes, let's make it look pretty. Let's make it stand out. Let's not make it look like everybody else's. Hire a visual designer. And not only make it look pretty on a laptop, but also on mobile. More and more people are consuming and researching on mobile, on their phones, on their tablets. If your site isn't mobile responsive, you're losing out on at least 50% of the potential traffic. All right? So hire that designer. Hire a copywriter, and not just any copywriter, a marketing copywriter, right? Because what you need is you need original, compelling copywriting to get people to believe what you believe. You need original, compelling copywriting to get them to take action. You need original, compelling copywriting to get your website ranked on the first page of Google. So when you're writing, who's the most important person? Let me ask you this. Who's the most important person in this room? It's not me. I mean, I'm doing all the talking. The cameras are on me.
Your customers.
Absolutely. And by the way, I already know this stuff. I eat, drink, and sleep this stuff. But I'm not the most important person in the room. You are. You are. Because I've got to be able to communicate a wealth of information to you in a short 2 hours. And so likewise, when you're writing, and I see this all the time, when you're writing, who's the most important person? It's your client. It's your potential patient. And I see all these sites, and I swear to God, you guys are writing for other dentists. Hi, I'm Dr. Creighton, and I went to this university, and I have these accreditations, and oh, by the way, blah, blah. You know, it's like nobody cares. Show that you're human a little bit. Show that you have interests. Go from there. But while that is the most important person, there's also another equally important person. And it's not really a person. We call him Mr. Googlebot. Okay? And so what the Googlebot is this little whatever. I don't even know how to describe it. We call them spiders. And they crawl your website so they can figure out where it's ranked. Well, if you want to rank high, then you need a professional. Like, go in there, figure out what the keywords are, figure out what you want to rank for, and then go get you ranked. bring it all together, have a UX UI designer review the entire thing, have a web developer put it all together, make sure that, oh yeah, on the back end, the SEO is optimized. We talked about mobile responsiveness, making sure it looks good on tablets and iPhones and the such. What else? Oh, make sure that it's up to speed. Google penalizes you if your site's slow. I see this, it's lazy all the time. Most websites don't optimize their images, so the files are too big and it slows down the website. It's terrible. Make sure it's optimized for social media. If you guys do social media, it's not a separate thing. There's a synergy there. It comes together. Last but not least, security. If you don't have an HTTPS on the back end of that, you don't have an SSL certificate. Google's going to penalize you for that. By the way, it used to cost money. It's free now. So if you don't have one, whoever built your website or is hosting it's kind of being lazy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So on your website, right before the www, it says HTTP or HTTPS. If it has the S, then it has what's called an SSL certificate. That's really not that important. But Google is going to favor those with HTTPS because it has higher level security. And sometimes, actually, if you use Google Chrome, what it'll do, instead of saying HTTP, it'll actually give you a little box up there and it'll say not secure. All right? So I know, it sounds like a lot. And that's because it is, because what you want to do is you want to do this the right way. And not only do you want to do this the right way, but what you end up with is a digital asset. If you take the shortcut, you get one of these like cookie cutter sites, you don't, a lot of dentists don't even own their site. They don't even own their domain name. If you're really thinking forward and ahead, if you want to sell your practice someday and you say, hey, look, I've got this digital asset that's driving potential patients through, that raises the value of your practice. If you don't even own it, then it doesn't matter. Okay? And just so you know, this is what we specialize in. Niche-specific marketing websites that convert. And we do all that heavy lifting for you. Okay? So part 2. Let's keep going. Great, you have this awesome website, and it converts. It's got great copywriting, great visuals. Okay, one of the things I forgot, make sure you put your own images in the website. Here's the thing. That's engagement. The website's engagement. What's the first stage? Awareness. So how do we make people aware? Well, we make people aware by getting you on the first page of Google. If you believe in this whole, if you build it, they will come, I'm here to tell you that's not true. It's Hope Marketing BS 101. You've got to get on the first page of Google.
That's number 2.
Yes, this is part 2.
Get optimized.
Yeah. Here's a little factoid. 75% of searchers, 3/4 of them, never, ever make it to the second page. So if you're sitting there at 11, you have a 25% chance that people even go by you. 7% make it to the third page. So if you're third page and below, forget about it. Okay? Here's what you got to know. If you rank high, ranking high positions you as the authority, as the expert, because the expert's not going to be buried on page 10 somewhere. Ranking high equals more organic traffic. Why is that important? These are people who are actively looking for your services and products. And they're actively looking at, and they're finding you in the heat of the search. It doesn't actually get better than that. So ranking high equals more ideal patients. So ranking high means more revenue into the practice, and all your dreams come true. Or part of that. So how do you rank high? Okay. Well, we talked about it a little bit before. You have you got to have your copywriter do some keyword research and make sure that those keywords are included in the copy. You got to make sure your web developer goes in and tells, on the back side of things, tells Google what to read and what not to read on your website so that Google knows where to rank you. The higher level strategy is this thing called backlinking, and it's where you get your website to your URL on other authoritative websites. And by doing that, Google sees, by proxy, sees you as an authority and starts boosting up your ranking. I'll give you a little warning, a little dirty little secret in my industry. So this is called SEO. I think most of you guys understand that, right? Search engine optimization. There's a thing called black hat SEO and white hat SEO. And the guys that are doing black hat SEO, without going into all the gory details, they're basically trying to game the system. And so, is it cheaper? Up front, maybe. In the long term, it'll end up costing you. Is it, will it get you ranked? Here's what usually happens is, yeah, they'll get you ranked. You'll be on page 1 today, then page 3 tomorrow, page 7, back up to page 4, down to page 11. It's kind of schizophrenic. It's not consistent. Okay? That's what happens. Is Google going to figure it out? Yeah, those guys up there are pretty smart. So they're constantly trying to figure out, they figure out, okay, here's our algorithm, how are people gaming the system? And then they put the next update. And that's when you see sites that used to be number 1 plummet down to page 13. All right, so just do it the right way. We're going to build an asset the right way. All right? And part of what we do is get your website on the first page. Okay? Part 3. Remember that little company we talked about up in Palo Alto called Facebook? 2.2 billion people on there. So chances are the ideal patient that you want to work with is hanging out on Facebook. Have you ever done a Facebook post?
Just did.
Cool. You're a Facebook advertiser.
I did a video.
Awesome.
Terrifying.
So here's the thing, right? So there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to Facebook advertising. If you want to do it the right way, you have to mirror the awareness stage, the engage stage, the subscription stage, and the convert stage of our patient value journey. Okay, so how do we do that? All right. We build out an entire funnel. So the first part is the ad, okay? What's your compelling offer? Not what do you want to give? What does your patient want? What is the biggest thing that they want from you to get them to come on in? Let's engage with them. Let's get that copywriting to drive action. Remember, let's talk to the limbic brain back here. The creative, if you're wonderful on video, let's do a little 2-3 minute video of you talking on there. If not, or you're too shy or whatever, let's get a carousel, but let's get real photos, not stock photos, real photos of your office, of your staff, of your happy patients. And if push comes to shove, we'll just use one, but make it an authentic photo. All right? So we're engaging, and boom, they click, and they go through, and we take them to this landing page with your offer. And there's this thing called scent. And scent is, when we take them along this journey, everything has to be congruent. Because if you sit there and they click on your Facebook ad and it's not congruent with your landing page, people are wary of this whole clickbait thing. And so like I'm out of here. I'm hit the panic button, eject, we're out of here. Okay, but a landing page, what is a landing page? Just really quickly, a landing page, it's a web page, okay? But there's only 2 options. You either sign up or you go to a different page. Meaning you type in ESPN.com and you go somewhere else. You close the tab. There's no navigation. We don't want to give them other choices. You got one choice. You sign up or you don't. Okay? And on that landing page, this is where we're going to include a lot of our social proof, and we're going to run down and all your best testimonials, all your best reviews, we're hitting them with that. Because what people want to see. Oh, I'm in that guy's situation. Oh, that guy looks like me, or, you know, whatever. I connect with that person. So then we get them to convert. Now, this is this really weird thing. So we get them to convert, and there's this really weird thing. It's this tiny little gap between when they sign up for your coupon or your voucher or whatever we're offering, and when they go into your calendar and they book your appointment. There's this tiny little gap, and sometimes it seems like this giant chasm because we see everybody keeps falling into this gap. So you got to close that gap, and there's 4 ways to close that gap. All right? You hit them with a text message, okay? Because people are on their phones. Don't forget to sign up for your appointment. You hit them with an email. Email marketing is alive and well. It's happening. You hit them with a phone call. Let's not forget, through all of this, sales is it's human-to-human relationships, okay? So get a human on the line. So you get a notification at the office, and whoever's working the front desk sees that. They call back within 5 minutes. Hi, Creighton. I saw you downloaded our voucher. We're really excited to see you. Can you come in next Tuesday? We have an opening in the afternoon. Let's close that conversion rate down. I'll get to the 4th one in a second. The other really, really important thing is targeting. Your lazy Facebook advertiser will just target anybody within a 25-mile radius of you, and it's just a shotgun approach. And by the way, it'll work a little bit. It won't work in the long term, but it'll work a little bit. What we really want is we want ideal patients. We want people that you actually want to work with. And so you got to hone down who is that person. Pediatric dentist. I don't want to just hit everybody within a 25-mile radius of me or a 10-mile radius of me. I want to hit moms. I want to hit dads. And oh, by the way, it's not just, it's technically one ad, but what you do is you run all these sub-campaigns. This is targeting. What you do in the sub-campaigns is you test all your assumptions. Well, I want to run the ad towards moms because I think moms will convert better. Okay, that's your assumption. But we're scientists here, so we prove it. So we run the ad to women, say 25 to 40. And then men, 25 to 40. And we look at the data. We look at the data on a daily basis, and you make sure that your assumption that moms are the ones that are going to convert actually convert. Because maybe the dads surprise you. And by the way, if they're both converting, we just continue advertising to everybody. So there's this other thing called the Facebook Pixel. This is part 4 of the closing that little gap, that little chasm. It's called the Facebook Pixel. I won't go into the gory details on it, but everybody in here has had that experience. Right? Summer's starting, you go to Target, you're looking for patio furniture because the old one's washed out. Or you go to Nordstrom's and you're looking at that cute pair of shoes. And then all of a sudden, you're on Facebook. Hey, that's the patio furniture I was looking at. Hey, those are the pair of shoes I was considering. It's because you visited their website. And Facebook knows about it. And now they're going to put the ad in front of you. And it's like magic. Only it's not. And if you want to do that too, because it's really smart, you can. It's called a Facebook Pixel, and it's part of the targeting. And just so you know, we do have a program. It's Facebook lead generation for dentists. And It's a proven funnel. All the heavy lifting's done for you. All right, so those are the 3 parts. It's a 1, 2, 3 punch to really kick your practice into overdrive. If you're wondering, we took an orthodontist up north. I think it was Orange County or LA. 0 patients. He had 0 patients. He was opening up the doors for the very first time. You know, he invested in that website. He invested in making ranking on Google a priority. And you fast forward a year, he's booked out 2, 3 months. He's looking to hire. Had a call with a client over in Austin, Texas. And he just flat out said, he said, there's an inflection point in my business. There's an inflection point. When we started getting ranked on Google a priority, our business turned up and hasn't looked back. We had this client out in Atlanta, Georgia. And you know, they tried to do Facebook ads on their own, and they actually, surprisingly, had decent success with it. But the success started kind of, you know, because it's a daily thing. You've got to watch the data every day, and so, you know, the results started going downhill, and the cost per click started going up, and everything. And they say, hey, can you come here and just take a look at it? Can you help us out? You know, and so we reworked a few things, and 5, 6 months later, you know, their ROI was tripled off of that. You know, got to do these things the right way. You know, I came in here with really, really high hopes for you guys. I wanted to really give you guys a lot of value, really give you like a lot of building blocks to work with, and really even teach you the how, but not just the how, but why the how, on how to do this. And so I hope you see the enthusiasm that I have for this, and the expertise that I have for this, and the way I work, because I really, really wanted to deliver the goods to you guys. I don't want you guys going back and they're like, oh God, it was so boring.
No, actually, I'm sorry. I did that against
So-
you myself.
so-
You've been amazing.
Yeah,
Trust
thank
me.
you.
So I gotta go. I'm sorry, but I
Okay.
got information here for you, so you can call me up.
Okay, yeah, give that to Mason, please. But I also hope you see this massive opportunity that exists, right? If we change, you know, the way the world communicates has changed, and we've got to change too. And if you do that and practice these fundamentals, you can really uplift your practice. So if this is the end of our journey and we just spent 90 minutes to 2 hours together, it's been fun. Please take action, install this stuff. And if you get good results, send me an email and say, oh man, this worked. Because that gets me excited. And if this is the beginning of our journey, and we're going to work together and we're going to help you build your practice, I'm super excited to work with you.